When it comes to Windows, you instantly think of PCs, right? And when it comes to Android, definitely smartphones. That's right, but today, I'm doing something pretty bizarre that nobody expects. Try to installing a full-fledged Android operating system onto this old Windows laptop. Will this weird experiment actually be interesting, or is it just a total gimmick? Let's get started. To be fair, that mindset totally makes sense. According to StatCounter, Windows is still sitting comfortably at #1 on desktop with over 70% market share. Meanwhile, Android reigns supreme in the mobile space, holding nearly 70%. These two worlds have always been completely separate. Our companion for today is the Dell Latitude E5470, an office laptop released back in 2016. As you can see, even after a full decade, its physical condition is still holding up quite well. Under the hood, it packs an Intel Core i5 6300U CPU and 4 GB of RAM. It actually has an empty RAM slot, but it'd be pretty boring if I just threw in another stick of RAM and let it keep running Windows. As someone who loves tinkering, I'm putting hardware upgrades on hold today. I want to see, can Android actually run smoothly with just 4 GB of RAM on an 18-year-old, well, a 10-year-old laptop? But wait a minute. We all know native Android is designed for ARM chip architecture on mobile devices, not x86 CPUs on PCs. That right there is the biggest hurdle. Fortunately, the open source community has developed a few custom Android distributions specifically for x86 PCs. We have Android x86, but that project seems to be abandoned, stuck at Android 9. Which is pretty outdated by now, so there's no real reason for me to pick it. Then I found Bliss OS, a free open source operating system based on Android. Checking their repository, the latest stable version with a downloadable ISO file is Bliss OS 16, built on Android 13. Even though their GitHub source code is open for Bliss OS 17 and 18 based on Android 14 and 15, ISO builds haven't been released yet, so Bliss OS 16 is definitely candidate #1 for today's experiment. We'll download the Bliss OS 16 ISO file and create a bootable drive using Rufus. Alright, got it. Now let's restart the machine and boot into Bliss from the bootable drive to start installing it onto the internal drive. I don't want to turn this video into a dry installation tutorial. There are plenty of detailed guides on YouTube for that, so feel free to look those up. Honestly, the installation process didn't take much time at all. It was done in just a moment. I didn't expect it to be that fast. Now let's hit reboot. Bliss has booted up, awesome. We're greeted by a flower logo. Is that a lotus? The initial setup steps feel super familiar, just like any standard Android device. We select our language, copy apps and data option, and sign in with a Google account. We can totally skip right through these steps and set them up later though. And that's it, Bliss OS is up and running. We've got a full-fledged Android interface and the whole setup process was insanely fast. I basically just turned a laptop into an Android tablet, except we don't have a touchscreen here. What we do have is a glossy screen, which is basically just a mirror. Look at that reflection. Haha, terrible. Wait, hold on, what's this? Are they asking for a beer? Hey, I'm not really a drinking guy, you know? That's actually pretty funny. We've got a complete tablet interface here. Everything is surprisingly smooth, super responsive with zero lag. The app drawer, control center, and notification shade are all there and very intuitive. I can easily adjust the screen brightness just like on a real Android device. Google Apps come pre-installed here as well. Let's quickly check the system information. We've got the Intel Core i5 6300U processor, 128GB storage, 4 GB of RAM, battery info, and screen resolution. Everything is recognized correctly, running Android 13 on Bliss OS 16.9.7. Sweet. Although we don't have a touchscreen, what's really interesting is that the touchpad works very well. I can use 2-finger gestures to swipe and navigate on the Bliss's home screen. It feels super snappy. Alright, everything's looking pretty good. Now, I'm going to test the boot speed of Bliss on this laptop. From the moment the power button is pressed and including the initial Bliss boot process, it takes about 40 seconds for the system to fully boot up. This speed isn't outstanding, but it's acceptable. And right after booting up, Bliss is ready to go immediately. Everything runs smoothly and feels super responsive. Look, now they're even dropping sweet words like this. We love you 3000? Oh, I'm not Iron Man. The developers have a real sense of humor. However, a smooth interface and a good joke aren't enough. What I really want to know is whether Bliss OS actually make Android works well on this Windows laptop. As I tested earlier, the screen brightness can be adjusted easily, the trackpad works great, and as you can see, it supports up to 4-point multi-touch, which is super useful for Android. On top of that, the default function keys on the laptop keyboard work exactly. F11 and F12 adjust the screen brightness. Spot on. F9 is for search. Wow, it opens the Google search box right away. That's awesome. F1, F2, and F3 for volume control work great too. Really cool. However, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are completely non-functional, possibly due to missing drivers, which is quite common with custom OS builds. But at least I'm still using Ethernet and it's working fine. I'll figure out how to fix the Wi-Fi later. Hey, we've got camera! Hello? Anyone home? Even though the image quality isn't amazing, it actually works. Nice! So we've got a functional webcam. To get the full Android experience, I'm going to sign into Google and install some essential apps from the Play Store. Since we're running Android 13, which is still totally relevant, almost every app on the Google Play Store supports this version without any issues. I'm starting to get pretty annoyed with this glossy screen. It looks terrible on my camera. Let's try outputting to an external monitor via HDMI and see what happens. And boom! It worked instantly. Honestly, everything looks so much better on this big display compared to that mirror-like glossy screen. Now I'm using the DevInfo app to view full accurate system details. We have a Dell laptop running Android 13 Tiramisu, an i5 6300U CPU, and integrated Intel HD Graphics 520. System temperatures are running pretty cool right now, hovering under 50 degrees Celsius. This app also lets us display live CPU and RAM usage directly on the screen, which is super handy. RAM usage is currently sitting at 38%, using about 1.4 gigabytes out of 3.7 gigabytes. Pretty solid. Now moving on to Chrome. I'm opening Reddit, the page loads fast, and everything is completely smooth. We can comfortably use the keyboard and mouse or scroll at lightning speed using the trackpad. Everything runs super smoothly across both displays. Right now, RAM usage is sitting at around 1.8 gigabytes. Adding another tab for GitHub. Sweet, no issues at all. Throwing in a YouTube tab next. And everything is still holding up. The video plays smoothly inside Chrome, and the audio works fine too. Though the speakers on this 10-year-old laptop aren't exactly top quality. RAM usage is at around 1.9 gigabytes now, still pretty solid. Opening up Fox News as well, still smooth as butter. And one more tab for Wikipedia, running fine as ever. So that's a total of 5 Chrome tabs open on Bliss using this laptop. Switching back and forth between tabs is super smooth, and jumping back to the home screen and reopening Chrome causes zero lag. What really impresses me here is that RAM usage is only sitting at about half, using just 2 gigabytes of RAM for this entire experience. Android is honestly managing RAM super efficiently. If this were Windows 10, I would have definitely needed to throw in another stick of RAM by now. Multitasking works great, opening a few extra apps on top and everything stays completely stable. Next up is YouTube video playback performance. Watching videos at 720p and 1080p is, of course, smooth sailing. Bumping it up to 1440p, everything remains stable, no issues whatsoever. Until we hit 2160p, 4K. The video starts stuttering at a few points. But hey, this laptop is 10 years old after all, so I've got zero complaints about that. Alright, basic tasks and core features are working flawlessly, but what about gaming? Can this 10-year-old Windows laptop actually handle Android games? Starting off with Temple Run and we immediately hit a snag. The game is running in portrait mode, so everything is turned sideways on the screen. It looks quite unsightly. I need to use the Set Orientation app to fix this, setting the default display mode to landscape. Alright, the game launched. However, I still can't control it. The mouse is completely useless here. Now you need XTMapper to assign the controls to the game. And just like that, it's playable. Angry Birds Friends can also be played smoothly. Wow, that was a pretty solid shot, right? It's been ages since I last played with these birds. Still super fun. Next, I'll be using the Pojav Launcher emulator to play Minecraft Java on this Android setup. At an 8-chunk render distance, we easily get around 40 to 50 FPS. The experience is pretty good and totally playable. So, Bliss OS successfully helped us bring Android 13 to this 10-year-old Windows laptop, and it runs shockingly smooth despite having a mere 4 GB of RAM. Of course, there are certain features where Android just can't replace Windows, but this whole experiment was genuinely fun. We actually managed to take an OS designed for mobile devices and run it stably on an x86 PC. Do you think this setup is worth it? Know any other cool operating systems I should check out? Drop a comment down below. Catch you guys next time!